What really happened to this elite Roman force that seemingly vanished without a trace in Britain? Today we dive into the top 5 theories trying to solve one of history's greatest military enigmas. Theory 1. Annihilated in battle during the Caledonian Rebellion. The most widely accepted and dramatic theory is that the 9th Legion was annihilated in a brutal conflict with the Caledonian tribes. During the early 2nd century AD, Rome struggled to maintain control over its northernmost province, Britannia. The Caledonians, fierce and skilled warriors inhabiting the rugged highlands of what is now Scotland, waged a relentless guerrilla war against Roman occupation. Their knowledge of the terrain, combined with hit-and-run tactics, frustrated Roman legions accustomed to more traditional warfare. Historical sources like the writings of Cassius Dio and Tacitus hint at fierce resistance but do not explicitly mention the 9th Legion's destruction. Some Roman historians reference devastating defeats suffered in northern Britain, leading many to speculate that the 9th met its end here. Losing an entire legion would have been a significant blow to Roman military prestige and may explain why the Romans later obscured details of these battles. The sheer scale of the loss might have been too humiliating to record openly. However, archaeological evidence directly linking the 9th Legion to a catastrophic battle in Scotland is scarce. Unlike other famous Roman battlefields, there is no clear mass grave or battlefield site conclusively identified with the 9th's demise. This absence fuels debate. Was the Legion wiped out in one massive battle, or did it gradually lose strength through ongoing skirmishes and attrition? Some historians suggest that while the 9th Legion suffered severe losses, it was not completely destroyed, raising questions about the accuracy of this traditional narrative. Theory 2. Redeployed elsewhere in the empire. An alternative explanation posits that the 9th Legion was not destroyed in Britain, but reassigned to another part of the sprawling Roman Empire. Roman legions were often shifted between frontiers depending on the empire's strategic needs. The 9th may have been transferred to reinforce the eastern provinces facing threats from Parthians or to campaigns in North Africa or the Balkans. Supporting this theory, some inscriptions and artifacts found outside Britain hint at the presence of a 9th Legion unit, although none conclusively link them to the famous 9th Hispana of Britain. The Roman military bureaucracy was complex, and legions were sometimes renamed, merged, or split, which could explain the disappearance of clear records in Britain, but continued existence elsewhere. This theory is attractive because it suggests continuity rather than disaster. If the 9th was redeployed, it could have fought valiantly on other fronts, its legacy surviving in less documented regions. However, the lack of strong documentary evidence or inscriptions definitively placing the 9th elsewhere means this remains speculative. The theory also challenges the popular narrative, urging historians to reconsider assumptions based on incomplete records. Theory 3. Integrated into local populations. The third theory explores a more subtle but equally fascinating fate for the 9th Legion: gradual disbandment and assimilation into local populations. After suffering losses and possibly diminished by constant conflict, the Legion's surviving soldiers may have been discharged and encouraged to settle in Britain as part of Rome's strategy to stabilize and Romanize the province. Roman policy often involved granting land to veteran soldiers to promote loyalty and economic integration. These veterans, blending with local Britons, would have contributed to the cultural fusion that characterized Roman Britain. Archaeological evidence of Roman-style villas, farms, and towns supports this, revealing a population that included former soldiers. This integration would explain the disappearance of the 9th Legion as a formal fighting unit, replaced by a dispersed civilian presence in Britain. Over generations, these Romanized Britons could have absorbed the Legion's identity, leaving few direct traces of the original unit. This gradual fading contrasts sharply with dramatic destruction, but aligns with Rome's practical governance style. Theory 4. Administrative disbandment and name change. Roman legions sometimes underwent administrative changes that could lead to the effective disappearance of a unit from historical records. Poor performance, political shifts, or reorganizations might result in a legion being disbanded, renamed, or merged with others. The 9th Legion may have been subjected to such bureaucratic alterations, Evidence for this comes from records showing legions being reconstituted under new titles or numbers, reflecting changes in leadership or strategic purpose. If the Ninth was officially disbanded due to military setbacks or political reasons, its soldiers could have been absorbed into other legions, and its original name retired from use. This theory emphasizes the importance of considering Roman military bureaucracy's complexity and how historical records can be misleading or incomplete. While no direct documentation confirms such disbandment for the Ninth, the lack of further mentions might indicate a quiet administrative end rather than a battlefield disaster. This mundane but plausible outcome challenges the romanticized myths surrounding the Legion's fate. Theory 5. Myth and legend. Overstated its fate. Finally, some scholars suggest that the legend of the Lost Ninth Legion is a product of myth-making and the natural gaps in ancient historical records. The notion of a lost legion captivates the imagination, but the reality may be far less sensational. The legion might have gradually faded from prominence without dramatic events marking its end. Ancient military histories are incomplete and sometimes contradictory. The silence on the Ninth Legion could reflect lost documents, scribal errors, or changes in record-keeping. Over time, stories of the Legion's disappearance may have been exaggerated, fueled by later writers in popular culture. This theory cautions against accepting dramatic narratives without critical examination. The Lost Ninth Legion's mystery invites continued research and exploration, but the truth might be less spectacular, a slow, quiet disappearance rather than a sudden, violent end. The mystery of the Lost Ninth Legion remains one of history's most enduring puzzles. Each theory offers a unique lens to understand Roman military history, imperial challenges, and the complexities of historical memory. Whether annihilated in battle, redeployed across the empire, absorbed into local populations, quietly disbanded, or mythologized over centuries, the Ninth Legion's fate continues to fascinate and inspire. The story of Rome's lost Ninth Legion remains one of history's most enduring mysteries. Whether wiped out in a brutal battle against fierce northern tribes, quietly redeployed across the empire, absorbed into local populations, or erased through administrative changes, the truth continues to elude us.